the officers who shot and killed this woman will not face charges. Jada Johnson was killed last July in Fayetteville, and today the Attorney General's office explained why those officers will not be charged. The family's attorney, meanwhile, sharing their disappointment with WRAL's Fayetteville reporter Gilbert Bays.
Well, the meeting between the North Carolina Department of Justice and the grandparents of Jada Johnson lasted for about an hour and a half. Although the grandfather couldn't speak on camera, when he came down the courthouse steps, he said, "Gilbert, I have some disappointing news." The somber look on the faces of Jada Johnson's grandparents outside the Cumberland County Courthouse told the story. Their attorney broke the news to a small gathering of reporters shortly after meeting with the attorneys from the North Carolina Department of Justice.
And this morning, they unfortunately told us that they will not prosecute the officers that committed the killing of Jada Johnson.
Her grandparents called Fayetteville police to their home in July because Johnson was suffering a mental health crisis. At one point, Johnson held a gun to her head and threatened to kill herself. When she put the gun down for a moment, an officer tried to subdue her. Doorbell video shows other officers rushing into the home after shots were fired. An autopsy revealed Johnson was shot by police 17 times.
It's very clear in the lawsuit, right? We document, we narrate very clearly, step by step, what happened that night and how the officers fully secured Jada, how they had her fully secured when the other officer decided to shoot.
But North Carolina Attorney General Josh Stein doesn't see it that way. In a statement he wrote in part, "The evidence shows that the officers faced a deadly threat and acted reasonably in response. Therefore, no charges will be brought." Richard Iwansky is the grandfather who watched his granddaughter get shot. His attorney wouldn't let him talk on camera, but he told me his granddaughter was murdered, and he plans to take the litigation to the next level.
Even though we disagree with their decision, we're not surprised. It's tragic, but this is consistent with what has been happening with NCDOJ, with officer killings, officer shootings in North Carolina.
The Attorney General is also calling for the release of all of the body cam footage associated with this incident in the interest of transparency. In Fayetteville, Gilbert Bays, WRAL News.
Now, despite the decision from the NCDOJ, the family still plans to pursue its civil case in court.